Okay. Thank you. Jayo Radhamadhava Kunjabi Hare Jayo Radhamadhava Kunjabi Hare Gopirana Malava Giri Baladhare Gopirana Malava Giri Baladhare Yasodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Vrajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tera Banachare Yamuna Tera Banachare Jayaradhu Madhova Kunyabikagote Jayaradhu Madhova Kunyabikagote Gopijana Vallabha Giripada Dhauti Gopijana Vallabha Giripada Dhauti Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasodanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamuna Tera Panachare Yamuna Tera Vanachati Jairadhu Madhuva Kunjabihati Jairadhu Madhuva Kunjabihati Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paravidikacharya also Teta Satashi Shivad His Divine Grace Savaya Chatanara Bhaktivedanta Goswami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Shridhar Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shidwaita Gadadha Shivasati Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gopi Gopinath Sai Mukunda Radha Kunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavanam Ki Jai Vaturanam Ki Jai Jagadasami Ki Jai Yumanamai Ki Jai Shrimati Devi Ki Jai Samveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Gaur Premananda Hari Hari Bol All glories the assembled devotees. All glories the assembled devotees. All glories the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Namani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pacharni Nivashesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Dejatarni. Big crowd here. So, reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, from the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, 48th chapter, text 7. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Sananga Tapta Kuchayor Urasas Takshnor Jigrante Ananta Charanena Rujo Majanti Dorbhyang Stanantara Gatang Parirabhya Kantam Ananda Murtim Ajahad Ati Dirga Tapam. Okay. Sananga Tapta Kuchayo Rushasta Takshnor Jigranchananta Charanena Rujom Rajanti Dorbhyam Stananta Ragatam Parirabhya Kantam Anandamurti Majahad Hatitir Gatapam Sananga Tapta Kuchayoru Shasta Takshnor Jigranchananda Charanena Rujom Rajanti Dormyam Stananta Ragatam Parirabhya Parivrabhyakantam. Anandamurti majahalati dirgatapam. Sanangatapta kuchayoru shasta takshnor. Jigranchananda charanena rujo mrajante. Dorvyam stanantaragatam parirabhyakantam. Anandamurti majahalati dirgatapam. Okay. Sa, she, ananga, by Cupid. Tapta, made to burn. Kuchayo, of her breasts. Urusa, of her chest. Tata, and Akshno, of her eyes. Jigrante, smelling. Ananta, of Krishna, the unlimited Supreme Lord. Charanena, by the feet. Ruja, the pain. Mrijante, wiping away. Dorabhyang, with her arms. Stana, her breasts. Antaragatam, between. Parirabhya, embracing. Kantam, her lover. Ananda, of all ecstasy. Murtim, the personal manifestation. Ajahat, she gave up. Ati, extremely. Dirga, long-standing. Tapam, her distress. Translation: simply by smelling the fragrance of Krishna's lotus feet, Trivakra cleansed away the burning lust Cupid had aroused in her breast, chest, and eyes. With her two arms, she embraced between her breasts her lover, Sri Krishna, the personification of bliss, and thus she gave up her long-standing distress. So you can repeat. Simply by smelling the fragrance of Krishna's lotus feet, Trivakra cleansed away the burning lust Cupid had aroused in her breasts, chest, and eyes. With her two arms she embraced between her breasts her lover, Sri Krishna, the personification of bliss. And thus she gave up her long-standing distress. So there's no purport by the followers of His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. So we're going to read the short purports or commentaries of Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur and Sanatana Goswami and Jiva Goswami. She wiped away the pain of her breast, chest, and eyes by the touch of his feet and smelt his feet. Of course, that was Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. Jiva Goswami, she removed the pain of her breast, chest, and eyes burning with desire by his foot endowed with unlimited sweetness and anta, after smelling the fragrance or by placing the foot on her breast and chest. This happened after they enjoyed together. She embraced in the space between her breasts Sanantarakatam, her lover, who was filled with special maturya bhav. She gave up her pain, which had been present there for a long time. And finally, Sanatana Goswami. By skill and love, her pain arising from not attaining him was destroyed. Her eyes, chest, and breasts were afflicted by Cupid. Ananga Tapta is compounded with Kuchiyo, since her breasts were most afflicted. Or in an indescribable way, she smelled his feet, using her breasts, chest, and eyes. The Lord is called Ananta because he does not allow an devotee to be destroyed anta. In Sanskrit. By pain of separation, or because he has no end, ananta, of qualities like mercy and cleverness. She removed the pain of desire, rucha, by his feet or by his feet, along with smelling him. After enjoying with him, she embraced he who was dear, kantam, and the form of bliss, or he who was the form of beauty and bliss, kantam anandamurtim. This indicates that he gave her happiness and was happiness itself. Immediately she gave up the pain of not attaining him, though it had lasted for a long time. And again the verse. Sanangatapta kutiyo rusastatakšnor jigrantananda charanena rujo mrachanti dorvyam stanantarakatam parirabhyakantam anandamurti maja halagi atidirgatapam. So Omagana Timadanda Shah Gananjana Shlake Chakshur Unmeditam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So before I get into the main topic that I wanted to talk about, I just want to talk about some of the Sanskrit words in this particular verse. You have several places, tapta, and then you also have at the end tapam. And so this tapa, of course, generally we translate the word as tapa, meaning what? Austerity. But it actually means to burn, because by austerity you actually burn away something that is an impediment in your devotional service. Tapasam brahmacharyena samenacha damenacha. That's a verse that Prabhupada would often quote. That the first tapasa, the one supposed to execute, is what? Brahmacharyena. Brahmacharyena means, celibacy, basically. Of course, in household life, celibacy also means only the sex life for children. So why is that? Because basically, avritam gyanametena gyanino nichivairina kamarupena kontya dushparena lenacha. Again, it's that not the same word, but it burns like fire. Dusprena analena cha, isn't it? So, because the lust is the thing that's burning like fire. And of course, we know to control the lust. I was asked that question the other day. How do you do that? It's the first thing, control your tongue. Vajra Vegam, Manasa Krota Vegam, Jura Vegam, Rupashta Vegam, as Prabhupada describes, all these different things are in one line. Tongue, belly, genitals, etc. One direction. You eat too much, and then, anyway, you get the idea. So Avatam Ganame Gyani no Nichavirina. Kama Rupena Kuntiya, Dushparena Analena Cha. Kama Rup, the form of lust, and of course here, Ananga is mentioned, and of course Ananga is Cupid, which means someone who has no limbs, because he was burned to ashes by Lord Shiva. And so that means, what does that mean? He's invisible. What does that mean, being invisible? That means he attacks you at any moment when you're not expecting. Isn't it? So people don't think clearly. Just they lose their intelligence. Avritam ganame tena. There's that verse, isn't it? It becomes covered. Their intelligence becomes covered. Not exactly they lose it, but it becomes covered because of this lust. I mean, just one interesting thing is recently I've been suggesting to certain people that they might want to marry someone else, and if the other person doesn't really stimulate their hormones, they say, no, he's a great guy, he's very Krishna conscious, he's wonderful, fantastic. I understand, amazing Krishna conscious, pure devotee, but, doesn't stimulate me. What I'm running into, and also, it's not someone I could use as a trophy wife or husband. So anyway, someone to display, the social pressure. You come to the social gathering and you have a wife who's a little challenged, or a husband who's, a little challenged. So this is lust, just covers one's brain. I mean, what does one want to be? Krishna conscious or not? So the interesting thing, I thought, this is apart from the subject actually I wanted to talk about, and I did my notes on, but anyway, the interesting thing is that this Kubja, in her previous life was Surpanaka, and she was extremely lusty. I mean, she was a lust ball, basically. Nothing to do with love. I mean, she fell in love with Lord Ram, actually, and anger too. I mean, there's the whole story in the Ramayana where she was married before to the king of the underworld. And, lusty man, lusty girl, perfect match. And so Ravan, her brother, when he was conquering the underworld, inadvertently, he's fighting with the king of the underworld, and he killed him. So she was so angry with Ravan that, this is the product of lust, isn't it? Every time, isn't it? Jayata Vishak Pumsam Sangoste Pashu Pajayate Sangat Sanjayate Kama Kama Krota Pajayate. That she actually wanted to kill Ravan, so therefore Ravan sent her away to Janmastan to be with Karandushan. Those of you who know about the Ramayana know this. Because he didn't want to keep her in Lanka, because she was just filled with lust and anger. She would have. And then eventually she was the one who made the plan that Ravana would be killed. Because she insisted, she stimulated Ravana's desire to kidnap Sita Devi, right? Because originally Ravana thought he should kidnap her, but Maricha, he was his uncle, nice uncle, Maricha convinced him not to. He said, you're gonna die. He said, okay, maybe it's not a good idea. But then Surpanaka came, and she convinced him, you got to do it. She's so beautiful. I only went to kid. How can you say no? What are you, a coward? So she stimulated him. This is how lusty and angry she was. But she actually, because she fell in love with Lord Ram, getting back to the point. So she fell in love with Lord Ram, lust, not love. She fell in lust with Lord Ram. And when she couldn't have him, she was lusty towards Ravana. I mean, just switching one man to another. Couldn't you imagine? That's definitely lust, isn't it? Like Ram says, well, my wife is here. You wouldn't be really happy. Here's my brother. She says, oh. She goes immediately to Lakshman. Oh, Lakshman. Mom. I love you. And Lakshman says, basically, if you get married to me, you're just going to have to be a servant to Ram and that, thin-waisted lady. That's Sita Devi. And so she just went back to Ram, and then she got ready to kill Sita Devi, right? It shows the lust. So she was so lusty, but so Krishna thought, I'm just getting into Krishna psychology here. This is actually not what I wanted to talk about, but anyway, it came out when I just read this verse. So Krishna was thinking that basically, if we put her in a situation where she can, let's say, have sex, basically, she's never going to get my mercy. So Krishna thought, this is obvious. Obviously I don't have any quotes to this extent, but, it's obvious. Krishna made the arrangement because, Yomam pasati sarvatra savam chamai pasati tashaham na pranashami sachame na pranashati, right? So Krishna thought, she's lusty, she wants to enjoy her senses, and so I want to save this girl. What am I going to do? Yashaham anugrinami harishe tandanam shanai. I'm going to take away her facility to utilize her lust, or to engage in lusty affairs. And how did he take away her facility? Does anyone know? No, he took away her facility by having her be born hunchbacked. Yeah, in the previous life, he cut off her nose. Yeah, that's right. Thank you for reminding me of that. In the previous life, he took away her facility for being attractive. Who's going to marry a girl with no nose and no ears? And actually, there was other parts of the body which I'm not going to mention in class. In the Ramayana, it described he cut off. Oh, I can mention he cut off her breast too. That's what the Valmiki Ramayana says. Sorry about that. It's not me who came up with that. So, anyway, so you see that Krishna Ram is taking away the facility, the Yashaham Anugriyanami Harishe Tadanamshanai, right? For those who I especially favor, in the beginning, he just took, why did he arrange? Of course, it was Lakshman who cut off the stuff. So why did he arrange these specific punishments? Being born as a hunchback, obviously it was something she was born with, right? I don't think she had an automobile accident. She was born. Why did Krishna arrange this? So that she had only one recourse to become Krishna conscious. So I think Krishna arranges that, just to further widen the topic, Krishna arranges that for many of us too. That because if we were given more facility to enjoy this world, how many of us would become Krishna conscious? I know I wouldn't have. I was, even when I went to school, I was probably the least popular guy in the high school. Just like a complete nerd, bookworm, scientist, wearing glasses. So, and I was thinking, why doesn't anyone love me? Except for my mother. So, and Krishna arranges these things, or one is born with another deformity, or one doesn't have intelligence, just like that Brahmin who was reading trying to read the Bhagavad Gita, and he is illiterate. But sometimes if someone has intelligence, Janmaishvarya, Shrutasha Shibir, sometimes if someone has intelligence, it just like bewilders you. Or money, right? Someone has a lot of money. So Krishna puts people who he especially favors into difficult, maybe not that difficult like Trivakra, but he puts us into certain situations so it becomes relatively impossible to enjoy in the way we'd like to enjoy. And then, like Prabhupada said, his father would always tell him, Krishna has 10 arms, 10 hands. And if Krishna wants to take something away from you, he'll take something away from you. And we see in Prabhupada's own life, that Krishna arranged like a miserable wife. Oh, she was like she was a devotee. I can't criticize her Vaishnava qualities. But as far as Prabhupada was concerned, it was just like a wife from hell, basically. So, so Krishna has all these arrangements. And, in retrospect, we can see that's why Krishna had me suffer and not be go to the prom, be the king of the prom or something. And, I didn't even go to my prom. Thank God. So, that's why Krishna arranges these things. It's really interesting. And then we're so anxious, like Kubja was so anxious. She was definitely a lusty girl. There's no doubt about it. Even before she met Krishna, but all she could do is just like carry sandalwood to Kamsa, right? And Kamsa wasn't interested in her. I was just reading the other day the the Gopal Champu, that Krishna was joking with her, teasing her that, maybe you're Kamsa's girlfriend. You're so beautiful. Krishna was actually, just like, can you imagine that? But he was so attractive that she really didn't get too upset with him. Can you imagine, you have some physical deformity and someone just gives, maybe you were Kamsa's girlfriend. He's interested in you. I know who you're, anyway. But she had this, and then Krishna arranged just so was focused on him. So that's interesting, isn't it? How the loving propensity was focused on him. So sometimes someone will go through an unfortunate marriage. Don't take that literally. So, anyways, or have a nice marriage where Krishna arranges everything according to what's best for someone, and someone just has to accept that as Krishna's mercy, and just think, because sometimes people have the result of getting angry. Why did Krishna do this to me? I'm supposed to enjoy like this. I'm supposed to enjoy like that. Well, Krishna didn't want you to enjoy. I see people, get really angry because there's some mental problems or physical deformity or some, getting kicked out of a job. There's all sorts of things like that. But it's actually a benediction. So anyway, and then that same focus of that lust, the desire, can be an impetus for one attaining devotional service. And that's what I want to talk about today. Oh my God, it's almost over. So, and so it's interesting. I was thinking about Kubja when I read the verse yesterday and how enthusiastic she was to be with Krishna, because Krishna was her first person, she ever had that relationship with that in that particular lifetime. And then I was reading some of Rupa Goswami's statements of how Lolyum or enthusiasm or even, lust is a cause of deviation from Krishna consciousness and attaining pure devotional service, isn't it? Achahara prayasa chapachapam niyamagrat, isn't it? Achahara prayasa chapachapam niyamagrat. Jana sangha sololyam shah sabya bhakti vinashyati. So, but there's lolyum, and I'm going to read several verses about this. And first, we're going to read from the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, which is very interesting. This is a direct translation. The wise agree that the attraction to Krishna seen in Kubja is essentially due to almost kama, but not pure kama. So it's mixed. Jiva Goswami states that Kubja had in his commentary, Kubja had a prominence of kama as evidence in her not showing the actions of pure prema of the gopis. Anyway, I have so many verses that we don't have it. So, so let's see. I don't have time to read all these things. So here, Prabhupada talks about how to become Krishna conscious. If one is actually serious, this is from a class in 1976 in New York. Nirbandhanimati. Nirbandhanimati means firm conviction that in this life I shall be fully Krishna conscious, I shall understand fully Krishna. So this is lolyum, intense hankering. In this way, if we've got firm determination, then Krishna will help. That is, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Sadyat Jesham Abhipsipta. If one is actually eager, there's eagerness, okanta, lolyum, to understand his position and his goal of life, then Krishna will help. We have required determination. That is wanted. And here's the verse. Lolyam ekam mulyam. That's from Rupa Goswami. And there's more of that verse too. And I'm going to read the full verse in a second. But Prabhupada said, lolyam, to advance in Krishna consciousness, the value was only strong eagerness, lolyam, that I must finish this business in this life to understand Krishna. There are many shastric references, Prabhupada said. Buddhi yogam dadami tam yenamam upyantite. Simply, we should be very seriously eager. Then, very soon, acharadeva siddhyat yad abhipsita. Immediately, if not immediately, we should patiently. Simply, we should be very, very eager. And then Prabhupada quotes again, Tatra lolyam ekam mulyam. Lolyam means very greediness, or what can say, how shall I approach Krishna? This greediness required, not greediness for sense gratification. Then we shall be implicated more and more if we're greedy for sense gratification. It's the same thing, showing the two sides of greediness. Greediness is very good, Prabhupada said. So, even if it's like mixed, like Kubja was mixed, or like Dhruva Maharaj, it was mixed, but it's very good. Kamam, Krishna, kamarpane, strong desire, that is called lust. But this strong desire, just like the gopis were village girls, they had no understanding what is God, what is Krishna, but they became very much lusty for Krishna. And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu recommended that Ramya Kachit Upasana Vrajavadobir, famous verse, Ya Kalpita. There's no better type of worship than what is conceived by the gopis, their strong desire. How shall we get Krishna? That was their day and night thought. Kubja also had that, but it was mixed. That's all. Somebody is thinking in this way. The central point was Krishna. I have already explained that Krishna was going to the pasturing ground, and the gopis at home, they were thinking, Krishna's foot is so soft, so delicate, we dare not take his feet on our breasts. Anyway, so there's more. I just don't have time to read everything that I wrote down. These gopis, they were not supposed to be educated village girls. Who's giving them education? They are not PhDs. Oh. But still strong desire for Krishna. And then here's a quote from The Journey of Self. discovery. Yes, Krishna consciousness is available. You can purchase it from this Krishna conscious movement. What is the price? It is such a nice thing, but you have to pay the price. What is that? Tatra loyam api mulyam ekalam. Of course, the whole verse, which you can read in a second, says, one should be ready to pay whatever the price is. Simply your eagerness, that is the price. You have to pay this price. And you see, Kubja was extremely eager. Then you get Krishna immediately. Krishna is not poor. And the Krishna seller, the Krishna devotee, he is also not poor. He can distribute Krishna freely, and you are doing that, and he's doing that. Simply you have to purchase him by your eagerness. Someone may say, oh, eagerness, I have eagerness. Ah, Prabhupada said, but it's not so easy. Janma koti, sukrita na labhyate. This eagerness cannot be achieved even by executing pious activities for millions of births. If you simply go on performing pious activities, then still this eagerness is not available. So this eagerness, again, eagerness, enthusiasm, is a very important thing, but it can be awakened only by the association of devotees. Therefore, we are giving everyone a chance to invoke that eagerness. Then you'll see God face to face. Wow. Anyway, so many quotes. Yeah, but here's the quote from the Chaitanya Charitamrita, which is actually from Rupa Goswami's Pajavali. Krishna Bhakti Rasa Bhavitamati Kriyatam Yadi Kutopi Labhyate Tatra Loyam Api Muryam Ekalam Janma Koti Sukratayar Ne Labhyate. So let me just read the word by word. Oh my God. Yeah, we have time. Bhavita, absorbed in the melas of executing devotional service to Krishna, Mati, intelligence, Kriyatam, let it be purchased, Yadi, if, Kuta, api, somewhere, Labhyate is available, Tatra, there, Loyam, greed, api, indeed, Mulyam, price, Ekalam, only, Janma, Koti, of millions of births, Sukrataya, by pious activities, now not, Labhyate is obtained. Translation, pure devotional service in Krishna consciousness cannot be attained even by pious activities in hundreds and thousands of lives. It can be attained only by paying one price, that is intense greed to obtain it. If it is available somewhere, one must purchase it without delay. This is in the anthology called the Pajavali. So, and anyway, so I had a list of so many devotees. I'm just skipping over all these quotes I had about greed. So the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it's interesting, and Bhagavatam are full of stories of maturely unqualified people who by their greed attain pure Krishna consciousness. And, if I had time, I'd tell the stories of all of them. There's the illiterate Brahmin and the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Prahlad Maharaj. I mean, it's interesting. The Bhagavatam, as you contrast it with some of the other Puranas, deals more with devotees than with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The other Puranas mainly deal with the Lord. But if you go into the 7th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, you'll see most of the chapters deal with Prahlad Maharaj rather than Lord Nrsingadev. And so there's a glorification of these devotees who went from the lowest platform to the highest platform. Of course, Kulavechar, Sridhar, there's Gopis, Queen Kunti, Ajamil, Dhruva, Vidura, Ritrasura, Gajendra, Valmiki. So many devotees like that. Anyway, yeah, Trivakra, I forget about her. Surpanaka, isn't it? So there's hope for us. Bhagavatam gives us hope.
Purusham Kamaham Bhajami
Bhajami. Namaho Vishnu Pajaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Shimate Bhakti Vedanta Lamini Domine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gurumani Pacha Devi Sesha Junyavante Matsachagate Sacharande Gurumani Pacharande Visesha Shunyade Vasyachade Sacharan Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasati Nurata Vrinda Sri Krishna Sri Advaita Radha Sivasati Gaurata Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasati Gaurata Vrinda Jai Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Sivasati Gaurata Vrinda Shri Krishna Chaitanya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Gadada Shiva Sadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Ati Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram Hare Hare. Jaya Radha, Gopikanana Rana, Gopikanana Radhe. Jaya Radha, Gopikanana Rana, Gopikanana Radhe. Jaya Radha, hey, Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe. Jaya Radhe, hey, Radhe, Jaya Radhe, Jaya Radhe. Jaya Radhe, Jaya Sri Radhe, Jai Om Vishnupad Paramaham.